From the News Channel 8 studios, let's talk live with your hosts, Natasha Barrett and Doug McElway.
Some people call the Clinton White House the most controversial and exciting White House of our lifetime. Well, Melinda Bates says she has the inside scoop. She was the head of the White House Visitor's Office for all 8 years of the administration, and she has some stories to tell. She's joining us again. Good to see you, Melinda.
Thanks. Lovely to be back.
Your new book called White House Story is coming out, and, you know, you've been quoted as saying that your time in the White House was, quote, one hell of a ride.
Actually, it was Bill Clinton who said that to me on the very last day when I got a hug and we had tears in our eyes and looked at each other, and he said, gosh, Melinda, it's been a hell of a ride. And it was.
It was. You guys have quite a history. You met back in, was it the 60s at Georgetown University?
That's
both
right.
Students?
First week of freshman year when I'm wandering around the campus, dazed, confused, overwhelmed, and a tall, skinny kid walked up to me, stuck out his hand and said, hi, I'm Bill Clinton, and I'm running for freshman class president.
And you're like, where are you from?
Well, but you know what? We spoke for 5-10 minutes, and when he walked away, I knew he would be president someday. We were both 18.
You're both 18 at that time, so early. What was it about him that just, you know, everybody says he's so charismatic?
Well, there's the charisma, which is like a supernova of charisma, but there's the brilliance that's behind it. So I think charisma without that brilliance would be kind of empty, but he's the smartest person I know I've ever met, and I could listen to him talk just forever. He always has something fascinating to talk about.
So at 18, you guys met, and then from there on out, went to school. And how did it come about that he said, hey, come on over? I'm in the White House now.
Well, I actually worked as a volunteer on the campaign without ever once thinking there'd be a job for me, because like many people, I assumed if you work at the White House, you must be a lawyer or a foreign or domestic policy expert or a numbers cruncher, and I'm not any of those things. But the day after the election, I woke up thinking, gee, I wonder if there's a way I could contribute to the Clinton administration, because I've loved working on the campaign. And I went to the Arlington Library. I found the Plum Book. Many of your viewers will know what the Plum Book is. And I found a page that listed jobs in the executive office of the president, and one of those jobs was director of the White House Visitor's Office. I had been in visitor services at the National Gallery of Art, and I thought,
perfect fit.
That sounds to me like a perfect fit, and in fact it was.
What did you do for people that don't know? Because it's such a broad title. What were you responsible for? What did you get your hands dirty with?
Well, we had more tours in those days before security became so limiting. So our main constituents were actually the members of Congress who would write to the visitor's office and ask for tour tickets and group tour accommodations for their constituents, and that was very important. And it may sound like it's not so important, but in fact members of Congress used to say to me all the time that access to the tours was more important to their reelection than any speech they would ever give. So our job was to keep them happy so they'd vote for the president's budget or the president's legislation and
then
keep them
keeping
happy.
their constituents happy.
Right.
It's all just a chain.
Right. And then the fun part of our job was the events that we worked on. So for 8 years, I was the White House Egg Lady, the largest, most complex
For the
event.
Easter egg roll?
Yes. It's the one thing I actually don't miss about the White House. I really don't miss the egg roll.
We were speaking about kids earlier. 10,000 kids and their parents, everybody wanting photo ops.
Actually, 30,000 people on the South Lawn.
Oh my gosh.
From the morning until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It takes all year
to
put on an egg roll. So I don't miss that, but I loved doing July 4th on the lawn. And then, of course, state visits, and the Obamas are having a state visit tomorrow. The visitor's office coordinates the arrival ceremony, which happens in the morning, and then works with the social office on the state dinner that night. So
a whole lot of planning.
A whole lot of planning, and I have more experience than anybody because other people have come and gone. I'm the only one who did it for 8 years.
For 2 terms straight
right.
in a row. What are some of your best memories aside from your responsibilities? Maybe someone that, you know, you meet so many movie stars, so many politicians, but who really stood out to you and spoke to you when you met them?
Well, I loved having breakfast with Tom Hanks, which was very special.
That's so nice to say. That time I had breakfast with Tom Hanks, you could really talk about that one and make some stories up.
It was
breakfast
a lot of fun.
with Tom Hanks.
And actually, I took him over to have breakfast in the White House staff mess, and when we were on our way over, I could see the president was ahead of us walking into the Oval Office. So when we got to the mess, I called the the president's assistant, and I said, Betty, I haven't seen the president's schedule yet today, but if he has a moment, I'm down here with Tom Hanks in case he would like to know that.
And did he come down?
He did come down, and he never went to the miss. So he came down, and actually Tom was there to celebrate the movie Apollo 13. So the president had a conversation with him about how the movie had changed the attitudes of the public about the space program and whether it was worth supporting. So he was very interested in that. That was fun. Then I had lunch with Michael Douglas. That was a lot of fun. I got emails from people on staff for days afterwards saying, you had lunch with Michael Douglas.
Yeah, what did you ask him? And was he married to Catherine then, or was that before their marriage?
He was just back from filming that film in Africa about the lion with Val Kilmer.
I know which one you're talking about.
So I kept asking him, I kept saying, have you been to this movie? No, I've been in Africa. Have you heard about this book? No, I've been in Africa. So he had been in Africa, really concentrating on the movie. But it was very cool to have lunch with.
And you got pictures with all these people, hopefully.
I got pictures, yes. And a lot of pictures are in the book and also on my website.
Has anyone ever said, Melinda, I know you know this about what we did, or maybe what you saw me do or hear me say, please don't print it?
No, no one has ever suggested that.
Have they been happy when they read the stories?
I think so. The president wrote me a wonderful blurb and a beautiful thank you note. I think they love it. I wanted people to know how fascinating it was to be there, how much fun it was to be there, that there's more than politics that takes place at the White House. It's, I think, the most exciting environment in the country, and to me it's the pinnacle of American achievement. So it was a great honor for me, as I'm sure it is for the people who are there now.
What do you miss the most?
What do I miss the most? I loved events. I loved going to White House events and planning
events. And there were
events.
plenty.
And the Clintons were very social. There were lots and lots of events. And for me, I think the most spectacular event was the state dinner we did for Argentina, because I love to dance tango. And Hillary knew that, and she asked me to get involved in arranging the entertainment. So we had tango music and tango dancing, and I got to dance with the tango god, and it was, that was really special to me. So.
What do you think of the past administration, the Bush administration and the Obama administration, or just the couples, the first couples, and how they compare on the social scene to the Clintons?
I think that George and Laura Bush are a quieter couple, and I think they entertained less, and then also because of the security events and so forth, that they were less inclined to throw big parties. At least I didn't read about many. And I think that the Obamas are younger and have a broader social view, and I think they're doing lots of fascinating events.
Do you think the Salalis would ever happen on your watch?
I don't think so. We always had staff at the gate. I was really shocked when that happened.
Do you think the social secretary got a bad rap, Desiree Rogers, recently?
I think
now she's no longer with the White House.
I think it's really a shame that she essentially lost her job over that, because it appears that state dinner was a brilliant event, but no one's talking about the successes of it. We are still here now only talking about this amazing screw-up. So,
yeah, it's heard around the world many, many times. For more stories, it's called White House Story. Melinda has written all about them. This is your second book, am I right on that?
No, this is the first book.
Oh, okay. I thought there was one before. Maybe those were your online blogs.
The original title was Clintonista, and that's for insiders.
That's the one we have. I actually have that one on my desk the last time you came.
You.
So
yeah.
White House Story is out. And I also want to mention she has a book signing. It is tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. at White House Gifts, which is on 15th Street here in D.C. Melinda, thanks for coming back.
Pleasure to be here.
Coming up on the show, we'll raise our glasses to a tasty summery dessert that will take you back to childhood. And you can always send us an email right there. There's our address. Let's talk live at news8.net. We'll be right back.